Did you know that Dave Kunst was the first person confirmed to have walked around the world? But here's the catch. He used airplanes to cross oceans. He still walked an incredible 27,000 kilometers just in separate chunks. But today, we're not talking about Dave. We're talking about a man who might have gone even further. A man who set out to cross the longest continuous land route on Earth, entirely on foot. Yes, where our imagination ends, Carl Bushby's journey begins. Not 5,000 kilometers, not 10,000, and not even 25,000. Carl Bushby has already walked an unbelievable 47,000 kilometers using only his own 2 feet. And the most astonishing part, his journey is still not over. He's crossed over 25 countries, 6 deserts, and 7 mountain ranges. He's been walking for 27 years, all for one single goal, to circle the entire globe without any outside help. This is the story of Carl Bushby, a former British paratrooper who decided to attempt the most dangerous and longest walk in human history. On November 1st, 1998, with just $500 in his pocket, Carl began his epic journey from Punta Arenas, a city at the southern tip of Chile. He named his mission the Goliath Expedition. The plan was simple but extremely ambitious. Carl aimed to walk across the entire American continent, cross into Russia, continue through Asia, and finally return home to England. The total distance, around 58,000 kilometers. Carl figured if he walked about 19 kilometers a day, he could finish the whole thing in 8 years. What he didn't realize was that this 8-year journey would stretch into 27 years and counting. He set 2 strict rules for himself. First, no transportation, no cars, trains, boats, or planes. Every single step had to be on foot. Second, if his journey was ever interrupted, he had to restart from the exact spot where he'd stopped. These rules sound simple, but they cost him years of loneliness, visa troubles, and constant danger. His journey began in South America, where he faced harsh climates, rough terrain, and endless challenges. He mostly stuck to the Pacific coast and the edges of the Andes to avoid the most dangerous parts of the Amazon rainforest. In Patagonia, he battled freezing winds. The Andes tested his endurance with steep climbs and descents. Then, in northern Chile, he had to cross the Atacama Desert, one of the driest places on Earth. Lack of water and extreme heat became his biggest enemies. He pulled a small 2-wheeled cart with his food, clothes, and supplies, and he only stopped walking when he could find water. Crossing South America was a huge milestone, but the real challenge was waiting for him at the Darien Gapa 320-kilometer stretch of dense jungle between La Bahia and Panama, infamous for dangerous wildlife and armed groups. It was here that Carl was arrested by Panamanian police and held in jail for 18 days. But after his release, he went right back to the exact spot where he'd been stopped and continued his journey. By 2002, Carl had crossed Central America and entered the United States. He walked along long highways, dodged traffic, and endured the extreme heat of the Sonoran Desert. By 2005, he reached Canada and then Alaska, where the environment changed completely. He faced brutal cold, heavy snow, and remote landscapes with no roads. Even then, he refused any help that would break his rules. The most dangerous challenge of the Goliath expedition came when Carl attempted to cross the Bering Strait, the frozen sea between Alaska and Russia. The ice there is constantly shifting, with open water between the large ice slabs. Several times, Carl had to swim in the freezing water, risking hypothermia. After 14 days of extreme struggle, he finally reached Russia, only to be arrested again. Russian authorities claimed the Bering Strait wasn't an official port of entry, and Carl was deported back to the UK. It seemed like his journey was over. But thanks to some political intervention, he was able to get permission to continue. Still, visa restrictions, funding issues, and long delays kept stopping his progress. At one point, Carl had to wait for 2 whole years in Mexico. Later, he was even banned from Russia for 5 years. Instead of giving up, he protested in the most unique way possible. He walked 4,800 kilometers from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C. This incredible protest attracted global media attention, and eventually the ban was lifted. Carl resumed his journey through Siberia, Mongolia, the Gobi Desert, China, Central Asia, and finally reached Azerbaijan, when he couldn't get into Iran. He made a life-threatening decision. He would swim across the Caspian Sea. For 31 days, he covered 288 kilometers, swimming 6 hours a day and sleeping on a small kayak that carried his supplies. In 2025, Carl entered Turkey, where he was met with immense hospitality from the local people. With special permission, he crossed the Bosphorus Bridge on foot and officially entered Europe. After 27 years of continuous struggle, only about 3,000 kilometers remain in his journey. His final challenge will be crossing the English Channel, which requires special permission due to safety restrictions. It's expected that Carl Bushby will take the final step of the Goliath Expedition in 2026, when he reaches his hometown in England. By then, he will have walked approximately 58,000 kilometers. That is about 10.5 times the circumference of the Earth. Carl's journey proves that we often create our own limits. But in reality, determination has no limits at all. If you found this story as inspiring as we did, please hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more real-life stories of courage, adventure, and human determination. Your support motivates us to bring you more powerful and meaningful content. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next amazing video.